Standup Comedy, your host and MC, presents Comedy Appetizers, a podcast where you will find short comedy sets, stories, and funny bits from the famous and not so famous. Here is your host and MC, Scott Edwards.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's version of Comedy Appetizers. I have some fun entertainment for you in short comedy form. One of my favorite things on stage and always provides high energy for the audience is comedy music. So I have a couple selections for you that I think you'll enjoy from one of my early CDs. It was our 10th anniversary CD. And coming up first is Robert Aquayo, a very talented musician down in Venice Beach. He's done a lot of backtracking for bands, written his own music. You've heard him a lot on the podcast, Stand-Up Comedy Host and MC. But this is a song about dating in the 80s that even though it's from the 80s, I think it actually still works today. I think you'll enjoy it. It's very funny. And coming up later on, one of my best friends in the business, also out of Los Angeles, Jazz Kaner. He now owns a surf school down there and is very successful, recently retired, bought himself a sailboat, and he's sailing around and teaching surfing all at the same time. But he was a very talented comic musician that worked for me often in the 80s and 90s, and I have a set from him as well. But let's jump into it. Some high-energy comedy music coming up right now, Robert Aquayo.
Darling, it's so wonderful being here with you. Everything is magical, it's like a dream come true. Tonight will be our first time, we'll make love until the dawn. But first I have some questions, this won't take too long. Have you had a blood test recently? I'll need to see the lab report and 2 forms of ID. Then I'll need a detailed list of everyone you've ever kissed, and a set of references that list your sexual preferences. We'll put our body condoms on and our rubber gloves. Welcome to the 80s way of love. Just for you guys. It's not that I don't trust you, dear. Let's not make mistakes. Just like a Russian roulette game, one is all it takes. I'm sure you're pure and innocent, just the way you claim. But how come at the concert the road crew screamed your name? Have you had a blood test recently? I'll need to see the lab report and 2 forms of ID. Then I'll need a detailed list of everyone you've ever kissed, and a set of references that list your sexual preferences. We'll put our body condoms on and our rubber gloves. Welcome to the 80s way of love. I said welcome to the 80s way of love.
Oh, man, that's a great song that works even today. That was Robert Aquayo live on stage. But let's keep the energy up and jump into our next act. As I mentioned, a good friend. This was recorded back in the late 80s. He did comedy for a couple decades, ended up running a surf school and is now retired, but a very dear friend. Please enjoy the comedy music of Jazz Kaner.
And of course, the Rolling Stones. That's all I remember of that song. Huh? Good laugh. Georgia. I wear my sunglasses at night. That's why I drive right through the red lights. Oh man, the clock must be slow. Just for the two people that understood that. Okay. Sweet home Sacramento, but I'm coming home to you. I don't care if there's no cable, as long as I'm working for the Duke. Yes, all these hits on one album, that's right. Hey, how about Police Classic, Moldy Goldie from the Police. Right hand, I've got no date tonight, but I've got nasty pictures. Guess I'll do this till I lose my sight. And of course the hits continue with the Police singing King of Stain. I found a little wet spot on our bed today, and I'm kind of upset because I've been away. And what would that album be without Billy Joel? Well, she's a big round girl, and she's going down to Disney World. Oh, she's a big round girl, now she's screwing up the tilt-a-whirl. And of course, hits from those funky guys from down under, Men at Work. Screeching tires and they crash like thunder. Never catch a ride with Stevie Wonder.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you're enjoying this very fun, high-energy comedy music, short-form podcast, Comedy Appetizers, with both Robert Aquayo and Jazz Kaner sharing some of their comedy music. Hey, thanks for listening. This Sunday, our main podcast, Stand-Up Comedy. Your host and MC will have a new show. And come back next Friday. We'll have another short-form version comedy podcast just for you. Thanks for listening. Tell your friends. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Comedy Appetizers. Be sure to share with family and friends, and we will see you this Sunday for our regular podcast, your host and MC, and again next Friday for another episode of Comedy Appetizers. Bye.